Mr. Scarfo, where do you currently reside?
I can answer that question.
26 North Georgia Avenue, Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Nicky Scarfo did address Congress members that he resided in North 26 Georgia Avenue in Atlantic City, and we will be going over the timelines and evolution of the homes, as you can see here. Meanwhile, before we will show you the house of the time during when Scarfo was living in it, we will show you photos of his family members who also resided at the property. His nephew, Crazy Philip Leonetti, his mother, Catherine Scarfo, father, Philip Scarfo, his sister, Ananciana Nancy Scarfo, all lived in this residence after they moved from South Philadelphia. During the 1960s, when Nicky Scarfo was becoming his own man, his parents, the Scarfos, purchased 2 connecting apartments buildings at 26 to 28 North Georgia Avenue in the city's enclave known as Ducktown. The residence before the Scarfos purchased the home on Georgia Avenue, the house was built in the year of 1900. So as of this year, 2024, this residence is now 124 years old and has been remodeled throughout the course of the century. Now we will show you what it looked like during the 1980s when Nicky Scarfo was the reigning godfather after the death of Angelo Bruno and Philip Testa, as you can see from these news reports.
The main factor was that Scarfo's organization was already in place here. He ruled the resort's rackets from these 2 apartment houses at 26 and 28 North Georgia Avenue, Scarfo's home. But to understand how Scarfo became mob boss, we must go back to a time when he had just been released from jail for killing a longshoreman. Angry at the young mobster's temperamental carelessness, mob boss Angelo Bruno banished him to a new ball and chain, Atlantic City.
Until recently, Scarfo lived at his mother's boarding house in Atlantic City. He professes to be a patriot who loves his country and its Constitution. He took the Fifth Amendment 32 times at a recent state hearing.
Mr. Scarfo, what do you do for a living?
I respectfully decline to answer on the grounds of the Fifth Amendment.
Scarfo
Now we will show you of what it looked like during the 1990s. Reports and other different sources of which you will not see Philip Leonetti, but you will see the exterior of the house during the 1990s era, as you can see here. The apartments would still be used and rented, and it had Philip Leonetti's name as on the sign, and even to this day you can still see it being rented to anyone who wants to lease the property. Is next to Nicky Scarfo's residence is North 28 Georgia Avenue. This is a very crucial address, even though it's not Nicky Scarfo's residence. Also, his parents still own the property until he inherited. Therefore, Nicky Scarfo decided to use it as leverage to make business. Scarf Inc. was born, actually created by the idea of Philip Crazy Phil Leonetti. He would be the person that really was the brains behind Scarf Inc. and use it as his concrete business. We will go over that video another time and make a Scarf Inc. video and then go over the backstory of what happened even when it was at its business prime, its downfall, and where it is today. Now, in the photo that you see Philip Crazy Phil Leonetti in 2011, this is during the year he wrote the book Mafia Prince, which we quoted the source from. This is what he stood in front of the residents since he has not been in Atlantic City since 1996. And the reason why this is a crucial year, 1996, because if you remember in our archives, we have the 6 ABC News of Philip Leonetti being interviewed during the time when he was still living in this residence, as you can see here from this video.
Leonetti is the turncoat underboss of the Philadelphia crime family, and admittedly, a ruthless killer.
The government's star witness is Philip Leonetti.
Phil Leonetti isn't a mob captain anymore. He's a mob informant.
The 36-year-old Leonetti is going to talk.
This is Philip Leonetti before he broke his vow of silence on June 20th, 1989, and turned seaside resort, where he tried a little bookmaking, a little loan sharking. When Scarfo arrived, Phil and his mother were already there, living in his grandmother's apartment house on Georgia Avenue. It was a quiet neighborhood called Ducktown, 4 square blocks of close-knit Italian families, living just as they did in the old days. But Leonetti's mafia roots ran 3 generations deep. In the privacy of his home, little Philip was quietly learning the family business.
It wasn't strange to me.
You went to see The Godfather.
Yes.
So when you go and see this movie and you're walking back and you're looking around at this place, there must
Did
be
the thought cross my mind that here I am living in this movie? I felt like I could look out the back window of the rectory and see that same thing, that same evil festering in the neighborhood.
Father Michael D'Amico watched as Phil grew up and Scarfo grew more bold. The FBI photographed the wise guys who came around. Guys with names like Faffy, Chicken Man, and a young man who had come to be called Crazy Phil Leonetti.
Now, of course, this is private property. We will not be inside the property. However, we will show you photos based on certain websites of what it does like on specifically 26 North Georgia Avenue to what the residents did look like inside based on the photos that you are about to see here. You can see the exterior shot from the patio. You also can see that there's photos of a gas chamber, the tiles of the floor, and how things have been recently renovated within the past 10 years. The property was last sold over a decade ago. You can also see a photo that's interesting is this kitchen area. We will show you photos between of what it looked like then to what it looks like now, where you can see Nicky Scarfo along with his mother, Catherine Scarfo. We cannot confirm this is the actual kitchen of which this photo was taking place, but we do want to show you the similarity, and you can give us feedback if you think this is the precise location. Also, there's a bathroom, more exterior shots. So the property was last sold specifically on February 2007. That is 26 North Georgia Avenue, number 2. So number 1 could be up front, and number 2 is what you see during the back.
Scarfo lived with his mother at this boarding house on 26 North Georgia Avenue. Catherine Scarfo, seen in this footage, had a reputation for being a tough lady.
Leave us alone. We're not bothering nobody. Leave us alone.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more content. Feel free to give us your feedback and suggestions on who we should do next in the comments. This is Infinitely Productions. We love ya.